Square Enix has done quite possibly the unthinkable when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, because I've been covering Square Enix, I've been playing their games for a very long time, and to my knowledge, I have never seen Square Enix do what they did at the most recent Nintendo Direct with two of their biggest franchises when it comes to a brand new entry in them. We're going to break it down here on what this means going forward. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. So at the Nintendo Direct, something happened that was just unthinkable. Some would say even impossible, and that's the fact that we got a brand new Kingdom Hearts announcement for the Nintendo Switch 2, day and date, with a brand new Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy Resonance, Kingdom Hearts 4, both of them revealed, or one of them was kind of like re-revealed, but day and date, multi-platform, major Kingdom Hearts on a Nintendo system, in addition to a new Final Fantasy game. Now, some people have stated that yes, this is not quite new because the Brave Exodus game, but Square Enix says, wait a minute, hold up here. It uses the story and characters, but it's not just that mobile game. There are definitely differences and additions, and it's pretty much like a new game built for consoles. So we're going to get into both announcements and what this means for Square Enix, because I do think, and I said this before, when it comes to JRPGs or the Japanese companies, they are putting all their chips in with Nintendo, and I have never seen Square Enix do this. This is the first time in the history of covering Square Enix that they've ever had something like this since the Kingdom Hearts franchise has been around. And obviously Final Fantasy used to be where it was a lot on Nintendo, but it's been decades since Nintendo has been prioritized when it comes to Final Fantasy in any type of way. And obviously we have the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. That's going to be day and date on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Now we have this brand new revealing of a Final Fantasy game first at a Nintendo Direct, more so than PlayStation event or somewhere else. This is monumental. So let's get into first Kingdom Hearts, then we'll talk about the new Final Fantasy games. So, Kingdom Hearts 4 will be available for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam, via Epic Game Store, and Microsoft Store when it launches. Square Enix has announced there is just a slight potential retail listing for 2027. I would be shocked if this game doesn't come out in 2027. I think it's then. That's why they were willing to show the gameplay that you guys are seeing right now. But yeah, we don't have any confirmation at this point, but 2027 seems likely. Now, a release date was not officially announced though. Now, here's an overview of the game via Square Enix. A new installment in the action role-playing series developed and published by Square Enix. Kingdom Hearts 4 follows protagonist Sora and some familiar characters as they journey through the mysterious city of Quadranium. Sora will once again journey to various worlds where new figures cross his path and new powers awaken in this next chapter. More details about the game will be revealed in the future. And like I was saying before we get into Final Fantasy, this is the crazy thing. Nobody expected Square Enix to announce what's happening with Kingdom Hearts at a Nintendo Direct. Now, when we got the native ports of Kingdom Hearts, not only on Switch 2, but also on Switch 1, I think that showed us that Square Enix is super serious. Even before that, with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and all the different games that Square Enix has been porting the attention, talking about, hey, look, there's games available on Switch 2. It was clear that Square Enix has pretty much turned a new leaf compared to what they did on the 3DS, pretty much nothing on the Wii U, and even the Nintendo Switch 1. They didn't do a lot of original stuff on there. They were just kind of porting over things. It seems like they're taking the lead here with this. So when we got that announcement with the Kingdom Hearts, all the different games coming over native on the Nintendo Switch 2, there's a demo right now of Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch 2 eShop. That was serious. But then to lead it right into the Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement, and then to also show real gameplay going as well with the combat, which seemingly is running on the Nintendo Switch 2, that to me, once again, that's not confirmed. I can't confirm that 100%, but it does seem like it would be. Otherwise, I'm not sure if Nintendo would allow that much footage to be shown unless it was like a CGI thing, and it wasn't. It was gameplay, so it's going to look very similar or like that. To me, that was crazy. I have never seen Square Enix do that. especially with Kingdom Hearts. Remember, this franchise was an exclusive on PlayStation 2 in the PS2 era, and then it eventually got ported over, and then there were like the handhelds, right? So it wasn't completely exclusive, but the mainline games for a while were Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, but there were 3DS and DS games that came out that were cool too. But when it comes to the big major Final Fantasy, the numbered ones, that was always kind of like reveal at a PlayStation event, or kind of have it to where you're marketing towards those fans. The shift in Japan has been crucial. It has been big, where the Nintendo Switch 1 and then now the Nintendo Switch 2 is just outright dominating in that country. So I can see why Square Enix also has shifted their adjustment. And if you look at the fake E3 / Summer Game Fest bonanza of different shows from Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and all of that, the most popular show based off of the stats that have came out was the Nintendo Direct. So the most eyes were on that Nintendo Direct. Kingdom Hearts was one of the most popular games. Obviously, Legend of Zelda was. Also, Resident Evil Code Veronica, that wasn't in the Direct, but part of the Summer Game Fest. God of War, Lao Fei as well. So there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of eyes on what's happening. So Square Enix has somewhat, I wouldn't say like ditched completely Sony. Obviously they haven't. They have, you know, their games, they're gonna all come out there multi-platform, but it's a complete change from what we just saw from them when they had stuff like Forspoken exclusive, when they had Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusive for a while, they had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth exclusive for a while, and I bet you if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16 and Forspoken all sold well, this probably wouldn't be happening right now. Kingdom Hearts 4 would have been announced at a state of play. I can guarantee you, if things didn't collapse when it comes to sales of exclusivity for Square Enix on PlayStation, and way more PlayStations were actually sold because of Square Enix offerings, I can guarantee you this would have never happened. So it's based off the momentum that we saw from the Nintendo Switch 1, Square Enix losing out on millions of dollars not making original content for the Nintendo Switch 1, just a lot of ports, not a lot of day and day or AAA titles, multi-platform, just a lot of older stuff. And I think that they completely adjusted when it comes to now bringing over their biggest AAA franchises down on the Nintendo Switch 2. So I think that's really what happened here. And that's why it's pretty much unthinkable. Nobody would have thought that Kingdom Hearts could be at a show like this. It was a complete surprise. Most people felt that maybe it'd be at the Summer Games Fest, or maybe it might be at State of Play, or maybe even a long shot, the Xbox show, if they get like the whole Game Pass deal or something. But nobody anticipated a Nintendo Direct for Kingdom Hearts 4, which is what made it so special and kind of very interesting to see. Now, the other big thing that I want to talk about here that I feel is crucial, and that's Final Fantasy Resonance. This is a brand new first HD 2D game Final Fantasy title. So HD 2D is built within Unreal Engine 4, but it has its own unique, distinct style between the different games. And the crazy thing about this is that usually with Final Fantasy, even with spin-offs or smaller titles, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Type 0, whatever the case is, that's still PlayStation hardware, whether it's a PSP or a PS Vita or something like that, or Dissidia, something. Even the spin-off titles or other types of titles, even those have been PlayStation throughout the years. Yes, has Nintendo got some Final Fantasy stuff here and there? Of course they have. But really, it hasn't been since the Super Nintendo era to where Final Fantasy and Nintendo have been like, okay, we'll reveal it here first, or this might be the main platform where people are going to buy it the most. It's been decades. Final Fantasy VI was the last time, and maybe you can count Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, but on those ones, GameCube and like GBA, there was some Final Fantasy remakes or the ports of the older games. But when it comes to a new announcement, man, you just don't see this. And both of these in the same event, that's never happened. That's never happened from what I can recall when it comes down to it. I know we had Dream Drop Distance, but man, it's never been like this with new major or main line type of games, to where we get Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy kind of like back to back in one presentation. That was wild. Square Enix is going all in. But I want to talk more about Final Fantasy Resonance, because this game actually looks really cool. Is it Final Fantasy Resonance or Final Fantasy Resonance? Either one of those, whatever. You can call it whatever you want. So let's get into this here. So publisher and developer Square Enix and developer Landcars have announced Final Fantasy Resonance, the first HD 2D RPG in the Final Fantasy series for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, Switch 1, and PC, Steam, Microsoft Store for both of those, and it's launching on October 22nd. So nice on that one. Won't be too much longer before we get to play that. So there's a bunch of different standard editions and deluxe editions and pre-order bonuses and early purchase bonuses. So Gematsu has the full beat on that. I'll probably put up a shot for you guys so you can kind of take a look. It's just all sorts of random assortment of things here, but I want to talk actually about the game itself. This is what Square Enix had to say. Return to the pixel art world of Final Fantasy, evolved from its classic roots. Travel with companions bound by fate and call on visions to aid you in battle to uncover the truth behind a force that threatens to bring everything to ruin. Here are the key features of the game. Cinematic pixel art. What if Final Fantasy had continued to push the limits of pixel art? The first Final Fantasy to join the HD 2D lineup, Final Fantasy Resonance delivers a visually striking experience that feels both nostalgic and new, enhanced by dynamic camera angles and pixelized 3D models that make every moment more dramatic and immersive. Return to the familiar. A classic RPG adventure unfolds in a world filled with beloved Final Fantasy elements, airships, crystals, espers, and Moogles woven into the fabric of the story, and so much more. That just warms my heart. Reminds me of 30 plus years ago, Final Fantasy VI, back in the day, me and my brother playing, love it. Strategic turn-based battles. Exploit enemy weaknesses to stagger them, breaking their defenses to seize extra turns, and gain the upper hand with powerful resonance attacks in cinematic battles shaped by smart choices. Final Fantasy Legends. Bolster your team with visions, echoes of beloved Final Fantasy characters who fight alongside you with unique skills and abilities for deep party customization, which I do like that as well. Hours of side content to discover. The world is full of secrets, including the Wandering Swordmaster, Gilgamesh. Oh, Gilgamesh is back! A Colosseum with deadly monsters and rewards to match. A chamber of arms with formidable foes sealed within legendary weapons, and a showdown with Ultima weapon. Love that, bringing back the classic stuff that we all kind of grinded and tried to fight out back in the day. So once again, officially launching on October 22nd, 2026. Now remember, based on the first season of the mobile game Final Fantasy Brave Exodus, the console version extensively rebuilds and reimagines its content, delivering an experience far richer in both quality and scope than a straightforward port or remake. So some people were saying, oh, it's just that. No, they've completely rebuilt this when it comes to a console version of the game. So it takes out all the gotcha stuff, all the stuff that people just don't like when it comes to mobile, and makes it into a true Final Fantasy console experience like you would experience with Octopath Traveler or even something like that, or even like Octopath Traveler 0. That was a mobile game too. They turned that into a full-fledged Octopath Traveler game. Now, the opening movie and other cinematics feature cutting-edge pixel-based style using a production method that renders 3D, CG, and pixel form to achieve dynamic, realistic visuals while retaining the timeless charm of pixel art, which is pretty cool when it comes to these cinematics. Meanwhile, the special abilities of legacy Final Fantasy heroes, along with the select summon sequences, are presented in striking 3D graphics. While the game is rooted in the HD 2D visual style, it offers a distinctive experience that seamlessly integrates multiple visual approaches. So yeah, it looks really cool. There's even like, 3D stuff here with Cloud and all of that. So love it. Love what they're doing here. There's more information about the story and kind of what's happening. But ultimately, guys, this game looks lit. It looks really good. I'm super excited to check it out. And once again, it does something that's kind of unthinkable when it comes to Square Enix with Kingdom Hearts, mainline Big Kingdom Hearts, and a new Final Fantasy game announcement on a Nintendo platform at the same time in this Direct. It's just a great announcement. Just great announcements overall. And that's why I've said multiple times, and I'll say it again, people that have these rose-tinted goggles on, when it comes to the announcements for the Nintendo Switch 1 compared to the Nintendo Switch 2 and third-party games, it's not close. I can't think of a single game on the Nintendo Switch 1 that was a more surprising reveal when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4, or more like a better reveal. Like, there's no better game that's probably going to be coming when it comes to what happened on Switch 1 than Final Fantasy HD 2D, in addition to Kingdom Hearts. These are huge franchises, great games. I know Kingdom Hearts is going to be a lot of fun. I know Final Fantasy Resonance is going to be great based off of what we've seen so far here, alongside all the other big third-party games. Capcom doing a lot on the system as well, even getting some stuff like Lords of the Fallen, some weird things here and there. Stellar Blade, that's coming over from Shift Up. So to me, with the Nintendo Switch 2 and what Square Enix is showing here, and a lot of the Japanese, Asian publishers, some European developers out there, they're really putting kind of everything in. It's a whole different era when it comes to Nintendo. So we're seeing far more third-party support that's been announced in the first year or so of a Nintendo platform than we've ever gotten, probably since like the old school days, Super Nintendo or maybe even GameCube. But even now, I think that there's way more announcements than even the best third party that Nintendo's had when it comes to their standing in the market. So I like to see that. To me, that's exciting. Getting Kingdom Hearts, getting Final Fantasy, getting Capcom titles, getting Resident Evil, for example, Resident Evil Veronica, that's launching day and date on the Nintendo Switch 2. To me, that is far more exciting than getting a 7-year-old port at the time of Skyrim or getting Doom 2016 or some stuff like that. Give me these awesome day and date or these a couple years old games that came out that were maybe too powerful when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 1, couldn't get them on there, but the Switch 2 can handle them. Get me Dragon's Dogma, get me Devil May Cry, get me all of this stuff that just missed out on the Switch 1, get me that on the Nintendo Switch 2 at this point. So I think this is crazy. I think it's unthinkable, and I wanted to just give you guys my thoughts on Square Enix going forward. I think it's going to continue. They're going to pretty much put out the next Dragon Quest. Pretty much everything is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 from Square Enix. So what do you guys think when it comes to Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and the surprising reveals of these games at the most recent Nintendo Direct? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.